When I was writing another one of our videos, Dog or Octopus, companions that you may have missed, I wanted to introduce a companion that had an inherent ability to go invisible and possibly share that invisibility with its player. Unfortunately, in my searches, I was having trouble finding a compatible spotlight creature beyond an imp or a sprite. Those, in my opinion, are lovely creatures, but I wanted more. So it got me thinking, why can't I just make any of my creatures have that ability just because I say so? Nobody would bat an eye because homebrew rules. But I think we can make it a little bit cooler if we phrase things a bit differently. Hi, I'm Wes from Rolling Deep, and I'm hopefully going to help you hide the fact that your invisibility sucks. When hopping online for the research it takes for one of these videos, I was seeking detailed information about a specific tiny creature that could in and out of view at will. What I got as results were swaths of pages describing the greater invisibility spell and potions. Every DM will probably already know about those, but what I did stumble across was a lone Reddit comment leading to all of this. User Mr. True spits the truth about invisibility. You can certainly add abilities like invisibility to any monster/person you want, but you might want to consider mixing it up a little bit. Instead of just plain invisibility, you could do a variety of minions with different flavors. Boom, simple. An elegant answer to our question that also goes on to list a couple other concepts that I want to expand upon. But this statement really is the underlying message you need to take away from this. Anything can be invisible in your game world. NPCs, items, traps, and friends. Or chameleons, which have a natural form of invisibility, and is a way of elevating your normal everyday invisibility, as Mr. True pointed out. This flavoring of invisibility actually could result in different gameplay scenarios, such as an imperfect invisibility, allowing your cloaked self to blend into the surrounding area, but not great. You might be more easily caught when trying to sneak around, or if an enemy has a particularly perceptive eye. So this would be a great form of invisibility, not just for players and companions, but items too. Imagine having a tent that cloaks into the surrounding forest, so none are the wiser to your whereabouts. I guess you can have one that does this with full invisibility too, but when DMing, I prefer to have an imperfect solution given to my players and seeing how they deal with a little adversity in their gameplay. As we all know, the easiest way to sneak around is, naturally, in the dark, where the creepy shadows lie, or anything in D&D that qualifies as dim light, such as candlelight or the rim of a torch's range. Once again, as Mr. True's comment points out, warlocks already can use dim lighting to their advantage through the Eldritch invocation, One with the Shadows, in which they use their action to become invisible until attacking, or moving. So yeah, that leaves a lot to be desired. I want to dip into all the shadows, slide along with them, pass all of the melee combat goons, and get to high ground. I don't want it to just drop out because I moved. I want more movement, and boy does this work as a great weapon enhancement. In my proposition, 1 to 3 times per day, the user is allowed to become one with the shadows and become invisible until attacking or removing the spell itself, or wearing off after an hour. Why do I say 1 to 3 times? Because it all depends on the player that you're giving it to. In the hands of your min-maxing rogue, this will feel overpowered and busted. But what about to the new player that hasn't had a chance to play a lot of combat, or any player that is playing a themed build where maximizing stats aren't really a main priority? It feels a lot better to supply those folks who will typically use it to escape terrifying situations as a last resort. Look, if we don't want to have to deal with dim lighting or a chameleon-like cloaking ability, then the Shapeshifter ability is the next best thing. This is not invisibility as I've been describing for the majority of this video, but it can still be a powerful tool that NPCs can harness. It adds that air of mystery to a situation, immediately sprinkle in a hearty dose of paranoia to the party. Which NPCs could be compromised? If you want to allow any humanoid to have this ability, suit them up as a druid with the wild shape class feature. It also grows in strength as a druid levels up, which is pretty sweet. But if you want a specific group of creatures that are easy to theme, I also have your back. The changelings as a whole are a great race, and the Wikidot description for them reads, changelings can shift their forms with a thought. Many changelings use this gift as a form of artistic and emotional expression. It's also an invaluable tool for grifters, spies, and others who wish to deceive. This leads many people to treat changelings with suspicion. Suspicions included, they are a great group of people to include in your campaign. In the Rolling Deep campaign, Poseidon's Ribcage Online, we include them as a group of folks that run the Traveling Harvest Festival. Carnies and Shapeshifters just feels like a natural fit. If you want a specific NPC to have invisibility, time to write up a caster. Like I've mentioned before in this video, warlocks get the One with the Shadow invocation, but warlocks, sorcerers, and wizards all can cast the fartastic spell Gaseous Form. Gaseous Form turns a willing creature with all of its goodies and loot into a misty cloud. I'm not pulling this out of my ass either, but to keep things short, this spell lasts for an hour. You can manipulate your cloud booty to fit in between even the smallest of cracks, and your movement speed is 10 feet of flying. If we assume that a typical combat round in D&D is 6 seconds long, and your Gaseous Form lasts only an hour, you can only travel a maximum of 6,000 feet. That's a little over a mile and a waste of a lot of combat rounds. Not the best retreat spell, but it is one of the best ways to avert fall damage. Wes, you say, is the cloud invisible? No, but it's invisible in the sense by allowing the user to hide in plain sight. In the dewy mornings, a gaseous cloud would be brushed off as just fog to a majority of dumb NPCs. So it's not invisibility, and I guess I lied to you. Cry about it. As a DM, this would be another great time to introduce another imperfect solution here, as another way to implement this spell would be to play when the gaseous cloud is invisible. Maybe in direct moonlight, the gas may be seen, or if it wafts in front of a mirror, the gas reveals itself. Or maybe the gas is completely invisible but extremely flammable, dealing a guaranteed critical hit against the caster. So what did we learn today? Overall, that invisibility is a tool that players and DMs should utilize, but invisibility is a spectrum. Poke around with different approaches to invisibility because it's fun and one of the most sought after powers in the D&D universe. Mostly by me, after my charisma checks, just like right now. Anyways, if you like this video, like and subscribe, and check out our Instagram and Twitter. You might see us some memes or cat pics over there, and catch us live on Reddit, Twitch, or here on YouTube. Have a good session, everybody, and keep on rolling.